Hello and welcome to everybody listening to this training provider interview with me, your host, Aurora Dawn Campbell at the IAPC&M. And today in the hot seat, we have Vivienne Joy. Welcome, Vivienne.
Well, thank you very much. There's a nice warm welcome. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Well, it's Joy by nature and Joy by name. And I always want to call you Joy. You're always smiling. You're a bundle of energy as well as joy. So it's really lovely to spend some time with you again. You're in
You
my
can call me.
favorite colors as well.
I get called Joy a lot. That's how people remember me. There's worse things, aren't there?
Yeah.
If I said what my maiden name was, you would probably find it quite amusing because Joy is actually my middle name that I changed by default to when I got divorced. So Joy was my middle name, but yeah, much better name.
Right, lovely. Well, let me introduce you properly.
Thank
So,
you.
Vivienne is based in the UK and she's a fellow coach, which is the highest level that you can be. So, she's a fellow of the IAPC&M. She's also an author of a mindset book. She is a trainer extraordinaire and an international speaker. I
I
think
am.
you're going to be speaking again at ICW next year for us. And you have your own coach training company, training the next generation of great coaches. So I always like to share something personal, funny, unique that perhaps other people don't readily know about Vivienne. And I found out that Vivienne, like me, loves what we call car crash trashy TV, but actually it's very, very educational because it's a deep dive into the psyche of people who go on shows like Big Brother, Traitor, any of the celebrity type programs as well. And also, you're deeply spiritual. I'm a Buddhist practitioner, you're a spiritual practitioner. What
Manic.
else was there? Oh, you like property renovations, you like transformation, don't you, in all things? And
I built a
connect
few
and
actually,
community
so
is really important.
yes, very, very important. I've built houses, I've renovated houses. My dad was a builder. So as we know, we learn how to be through our parenting, don't we? So yeah, I love all of that. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, there's a whole series of these interviews with our training providers because I think it's really important for prospects to understand more about the philosophy, the mythology, and the energy behind the coach training program. So I always just say, go to YouTube. And for some reason, Vivienne, you and I have never gotten around to doing a interview or a chat, a conversation, as I prefer to call it. So perhaps you would start by just telling us what fills your heart with joy other than trashy TV. What do you do outside of work?
Well, it's interesting because you touched on the spiritual nature of who I am as a human, having the experience here on this earth. And I'm very much on purpose. I'm very much in service as well as in business. And I think that is the most important thing for me at all times. So my mission is always to help people be the best version of themselves. And if that means that their purpose is to help people change their lives, then I can help them with certification. So yes, 3 years it's taken us to get to this stage, you and I. And I think through those 3 years, it's been really quite a transformation for me, stepping away from, not so much stepping away, but stepping towards being a coach trainer and mentoring the businesses of those trainers as they certify and then go out into the world and find their clients, find their feet, find their confidence and find their passion and purpose. So I still coach other business owners to do that, but mainly it's my coaches, of which I'm very proud. They are best in class coaches. Of course, they've come through the best certification by the best accreditation agency, and of course I support them and supervise them so that they've always got a home and a safe place to be able to be themselves, as well as then listen to and take what they're going to from their clients. So yeah, that's but the spiritual side sits at the base of it. I was on a shamanic retreat about 10 years ago and I had this vision, and in this vision there was these lines all connecting lots of different dots, and it felt really powerful. Like I knew that my job was to connect people with their purpose and help them on their journey and have this community, as you quite rightly say. And I've got a community called the She Coaches Revolution, because it's revolutionizing coaching, because there's some pretty terrible coaching going on out there with people that are not certified, have never really even been through coach training. And so my mission is to make sure that people pay for coaching, get the best coaching, get the results and the outcomes they really want. And that's my mission in life. Probably yours as well, I would imagine.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we were talking this morning, David and I, head of accreditation, who you know really well, and we were just talking about how you can go on Facebook on Friday night and for $7 have a weekend online course, and Monday morning you're a coach. And that's not to say that the quality of training might not have been very good. I don't know, but you
Mm.
can't call yourself a coach. You don't have that honor on Monday morning, or privilege to help people with their personal and professional goals. You've got to serve your apprenticeship. You've got to be in study buddy communities where you're coaching, you're being mentored, you're being supervised. How does it work in your training scenario with your cohorts?
I was very keen. I know that I was really lucky when I did my NLP training with a company who then provided lifelong support. So it meant I could go and do their training at any time. And I knew that I was going to bring that into my business model, because sometimes we forget things. Sometimes we need a bit of confidence, and sometimes we lose our confidence and we need to go back. So my program is a self-led online program with weekly and fortnightly support. So they come and practice what they're learning. They come and be coached as well, so that they can let go of some of their own stuff, so they're not triggered in coach sessions. And that's for a year. It's a 12-month program. So they'll always, there's, as I say, there's a WhatsApp group for support, and they're sharing wins and challenges and asking questions, so that there is never a silly question, because that's the problem, isn't it? When you're learning, you don't want to look like you don't know what you're doing. And I know that's how I felt when I first learned. So yeah, so it's my program essentially has got about 32 modules, and they're coaching, NLP practitioner, NLP master practitioner, and then some of my own models that I've created over the years of coaching, which I've been doing for over a decade now. So very intensive, deep structure coaching to get to the real depths of what's going on. So some coaches will work with everyday life and what's happening. My coaches are more about finding the root cause of what's going on for people from their past as to what is being created now, so they can really put it right from the inception point, rather than just managing symptoms or challenges that are happening now. So so it's a great community. It means that my coaches will never have to hire coaches again, because they're all helping each other. They bring their specialism into, and they blend and integrate NLP with coaching and whatever else they're brilliant at. Like, I've got end of life coaches that are helping people through transition. I've got marketing coaches, I've got fitness coaches. I mean, everything, every sector, even one that does design and helps people to bring to life their vision for their business. So they're coaching them through that, helping them understand what's stopping them from being visible, because they're scared from childhood, like bullying. So there's a whole myriad. I've got ex-police and ex-medical people in there who really want to serve the community in a very different way. So yeah, the people that come to my certification want to be brilliant at coaching. They don't just want, like you just said, we can go and, well, people can call themselves a coach without any certification or any training at all. It's not regulated, sadly, is it? I mean, I think we're all praying for it. But they are going through a real experiential journey. So they understand what it's like to have all the different NLP processes on them. They understand how to do them. And the way I teach it is that it's not just understanding what the process is, but how it works and what to do. Because very often, if we're just following a tick sheet of NLP, and somebody says something that's not on the tick sheet, it's like, where do I go now then? That's not on the sheet. So understanding kind of the theory and the conceptualization behind all of the processes, so that you can create your own. So I've got clients that are writing their own NLP like modality programs and creating their own frameworks, because they understand the core of what's going on in the mind. So my world is very, very rewarding. I can't tell you. I mean, I sometimes cry on a very regular basis with joy. So, I mean, you can't really ask for more than that. It's making me emotional just thinking about it. I get like secondhand reward, I call it. Like, they're telling me the impact it's had on their clients. And I'm like, wow, that was from just me deciding I wanted better for my life. And now helping other people to have better for their life and create better for their clients' lives, whatever that might be. So yeah, it's a journey, and I'm just about to create, as you know, an advanced deep structure, a mastery, which takes them where they can use all of the different processes in very different ways, and help them create their own frameworks themselves. So yeah, best in class coaching is what we're all about.
Well, I'm not surprised it's emotional and can bring a tear to your eye, because it's part of your legacy. It's that ripple effect. We might start out thinking, well, we'd love to train 100 coaches, but they maybe have 100 clients over the course of a lifetime. So before you know it, I don't know what the maths is. I'm dyslexic. I couldn't possibly say what that big number is, but maybe it goes into the millions. And I think it's really a beautiful thing that you give your graduates lifelong access, because I think that makes a really rich and rewarding training experience for the newbies in your cohort, because these are sharing real life scenarios. And when you talk about the niches, well, I remember doing some research on niches a long time ago, and I think there were thousands for, as you say, end of life, retirement planning, debt, weight loss, etc., etc. So whatever you're passionate about, and you can have more than one niche as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And what you just said there is really important as well, because I know when I did all my training, I remember my practitioner, that we were all just practitioner, like none of us knew what the hell we were doing. So I remember some of the practice sessions were like, well, blind leading the blind, really. We've got a piece of paper and we're reading it and we don't know. So we were possibly picking up bad habits. Whereas because I've got a blend of people, I mean, some of them are certified 3 years ago and they still come to the practice sessions to support, which is lovely, as I do with my master trainers. So what they can see, they actually get in really good quality coaching, and like you're really seeing that coaching as well, rather than just all beginners trying to work it all out. It also shows them what's possible, because then they'll tell their story and say, well, I remember when I started and I was like, I can't understand what Cartesian coordinates are all about, kind of thing. And now I use it every day in my life. So it's really about that hope and the possibility and the probability, and that support is a real sharing. And I never even knew that was going to happen. That was the biggest shock to me when I started running it in its current kind of format, was the level of support from what I call kind of more the alumni, really. I suppose they're going to be, the advanced people that go through, that are there to support the beginners. And I think it helps them to realize how far they've come every time. So it's a real exchange. It really, that community part is not, I didn't realize it was going to create such a strong community. Safe, safety is only as far as we allow ourselves to be safe, but it is definitely they're all talking about how safe it feels to be in there, with some really quite big stuff, some of them, because there's always somebody there. Because they're global. I've got, some of my coaches are in America, and so it doesn't matter what time of day either, there's somebody there to support, which is important. Yeah, it's really powerful.
Very, very interesting, because it's the second time it's come up today, Vivienne. David and I were talking again this morning, as we do every Wednesday morning, and we were talking about the problem with the study buddy triangle. And you've just explained it beautifully. All three of them are beginners. Where is the senior or master who can actually guide and give constructive feedback that they can learn from, as opposed to three beginners all just egging each other on, saying, oh no, you were fine. So that is very, very useful piece of information for us. I think we're going to look at that to try and help other training accredited training academies to replicate what you've achieved.
It definitely works. And also from a business model point of view, because obviously I'm a business mentor as well, it helps me with my business, because it means if I can't run one of the sessions, one of my advanced coaches will come in and do it. They're very in tune with the concept of how it works. They get used to, I train them how to give feedback anyway to themselves and to each other during the course. So there is a community that can pick up the slack. So for me, if ever, God forbid, I'm not well or I can't make it, or actually just because they prefer another face, like they're sick of seeing me and hearing my voice, joyful as it is, it's really nice to hear somebody else's take. I also next year I'm planning to bring in some experts as well in slightly different areas. So like things like tapping and more spiritual based, which I'm sure I can come into your community of accredited course holders, and we can start to share some best practice. At the moment my program is all online, and next year I'm running 2 retreats. One that is an NLP certification retreat, i.e. they can come and practice in real life, because I think that's important as well. Quite different on Zoom than it is, especially with some of the NLP, than where you can physically position and anchor space, and then an advanced course later on in the year. So just to really bring that community together, where we're going to have fun, and as I say, I'm going to bring in some experts in different areas that will be complementary to it, that people can then decide whether to do the continuous personal development with that. So exciting growth plans for next year as well. Now I've had finally that first 3 years of trial and error and working at what worked and who the people needed to be be and working out the type of clients that I want. And my clients are typically people who have either already got a business, or they want a business, or they work for a bigger organization where they are the coach and they want to be the best coach, because it feels like a responsible role. So it took me a while to work that out. I have had all sorts of different types of people. I had people come that just wanted coaching, and I was like, oh, this is not right. You know, it's good to come and get coaching, but actually I want you to understand and want to coach as well. That's how the whole system works. So yeah, and there's a business. So you asked about the program. So there's also a fast track She Evolves business mastermind that's fully online. It's over 40 hours of business training around mindset for business, which is what my book is about, and also marketing, selling, and strategy. Because if you haven't got those core four sorted, you don't manage to build the business in the way you need to. And then, you know, it's very difficult to build a coaching business, more so now than ever, because there's such a lot of coaches out there, apparently. So, you know, being able to understand how to get your clients, get the right clients, charge the right money, and really build out a business that you're proud of and that you want to be in, is a really big deal. So that all comes together. So they're all part of the same program, which is quite powerful, to say the least.
Definitely. And the timing's fabulous, because I think people have got Zoom fatigue, and they're just, you know, after the COVID, everyone was battering down the hatches and hunkering down. And I think after 3-4 years, people are ready to get back out there, go to trainings, go on retreats, which is a beautiful way to learn. And the fact that you've got this advanced program, it means that you're tapping into everybody, because we get student inquiries that I want to do a short online course, correspondence because I'm traveling, or I want it short in person, and you're kind of covering all the bases at the moment, particularly with the business side, which has been sadly lacking. And that's a gap that we've been, you know, not responsible for, but felt that we've had a duty of care to plug, because there are so many training providers who are training as a coach, or an LMP practitioner, or a counselor, or whatever. Yeah. Then on Monday morning, the person after graduating has their certificate and thinks, right, now what do I do with it? How do I get paid at the end of the month? So that was a big gap that I see increasingly academies like you filling. So you said it was 40 hours.
Yeah, over 40 hours. I add to it every month, at least new trainings that go in, because things evolve. The marketing that worked even 6 months ago does not work now. Like, things are evolving rapidly. So I do as well. I do a lot of my own continuous development, as you know, and bringing, you know, different systems in from different parts of the world and simplifying them, because I think there are a lot of people out there that make marketing really complex, and people are like mind blown and really overwhelmed. So landing it so that people go, oh, I get it, I need to do X. That's the most important thing. I also get a lot of people who've done NLP training come to my course, and the first time that happened, I was like, well, that's weird, because you've done NLP training. They're like, yeah, I did it 5 years ago and I've never used it, and actually I didn't really understand it. Like, I got through it, and even master practitioners are like, yeah, but I don't know how to put coaching in with it. And a lot of people don't understand that they are quite different. Like, coaching is different to NLP practitioner, you know, processes. So when you put the two together, it becomes mind-blowingly powerful. So yeah, I've got quite a few. I've got 3 on the course at the moment who are master practitioners of NLP, who are now learning then how it's all working, and then putting it together and learning to be a coach and be a certified coach along with it, which is very much needed for a lot of corporate companies. They want certified coach qualification, not just NLP. So yeah, they're realizing what they need to do for their career. So that's joyful, because actually they've been trained by someone else, and that training, I'm sure, was perfectly good and adequate for them, but they're like, oh, I never understood that, and I didn't learn that, and nobody mentioned that. And I feel like saying, well, they possibly did, but you possibly didn't understand. You know, finish, yeah, because it doesn't until you're really into it. So yeah, that's been there's a few surprises as I've gone along in the 3 years of doing this. So yeah, I'm looking forward to year 4. I think there's going to be a lot of expansion.
I'm not surprised to hear you say that, Vivienne, because obviously working in accreditation, I meet a lot of people from a lot of different speaking therapy type backgrounds, whether it's NLP, counselling, or whatever. And nearly all of them say, I wish I'd come to coaching first rather than the other way around. It would have made all the other things that I've trained in so much easier to understand. So I can understand why NLP and coaching would be really powerful.
Yeah, I mean, I started in therapeutic counselling. That's where I began, person-centered. And I remember it taught me how to listen, which I've got ADHD, so actually listening wasn't not my core skill to start with, and it became so. I really understood. But I remember sitting in that person-centered counselling course thinking, yeah, but now what? Like, people have talked about how they feel, and they've worked out maybe, the impact it's having. How did they move forward into a solution? And so I was looking for something that I could help people move forward in. Otherwise, they're just sitting in their problem, their pain, or just a knowledge. And I was like, well, knowledge is power only if you then find a solution to the problem. So NLP very much does that. So there's a bit of therapeutic transactional analysis in my course as well, because that's another. We're a bit addicted, aren't we, to tools once we start this? So we've got a
Yes.
big. I'm just doing at the moment another program with the ICF, ironically, which is all about integrated therapeutic services. So, and that's
Yeah.
very much about trauma. Which of course
I
I
think
handle.
we're perpetual students, aren't we? We're on a path to very, very deep learning, and that enables us to, show up in a very special way for our clients, and almost sometimes give them a pick and mix. So I'm a
Yeah.
Callahan trained therapist. I've done Louise Hay Heal Your Life. I'm a nutritionalist. So so when I work with clients who maybe want to get fit or lose weight, I'm an audit walking instructor. I can sort of pick and mix. And I think that's the way to go today, to really diversify rather than being able to rely on coaching alone. You see a lot of figures on Facebook specifically, earn six figures in the next 6 months if you buy my course for whatever. And that's just not the reality in my experience.
Not no, and I think what they have is, and I know this because I was talking to somebody recently, they have like a small percentage of people that do the course that then give the testimonials. And of course you think, oh look, 10 people have done this course and they've got a six-figure coaching business, I must be able to. But those people have probably had business skills at the businesses, at the trainings, they've had other ways of doing it. It's definitely not easy, and I'm definitely not a doom and gloom person, but you just need to learn it, the same as you need to learn how to do anything, as you say. Nutrition is something I've been learning about this year. I'm on a weight loss journey. 63 pounds this morning officially I've lost. So I've been doing a lot of mindset reset coaching around that, and I've run a membership for that as well. So I've been tasting my own medicine, for want of a better description, to reprogram my brain around my relationship with food, which definitely has been a nemesis for me for decades. So that's quite powerful, to say the least, using lots of NLP processes. So that happened quite accidentally when in one of the practice sessions we didn't have a demo bunny, and so one of my coaches wanted to use a process, and I was like, oh well, you can do it on me, thinking, oh I'll just go run it. Next thing, I'm in the session crying my eyes out as the core trainer, going, oh my word, that wasn't supposed to happen. And then I realized, actually, it's your community, you can lean on them as well. These are people you've trained to high standard. They are, well, possibly better in some of their genres than you are, and one of them definitely within health and fitness. And I was like, okay, that really gave me that feeling of, I'm not just the leader, I'm part of the community. That was a big wake-up call at the beginning of this year. So yeah, it's a joyful place to be. Lots of people feel like they're out at sea, feel a bit lost, that they've got nowhere to go, no one to really hear them, no one to really understand or support them. And I think when you find a coaching community, and I'm sure you will agree with this, you realize you're never on your own again after that moment. It's like a really powerful coming home. I've got quite emotional as I'm saying that. It really is like that. And yeah, it's like that for me as the leader, apparently.
Yeah. Well, when I ask people, usually I'm working and networking with people on LinkedIn. I tend to think of networking like an Olympian, it's all about connections. And I ask them what it is that they're looking for from their accreditation body over and above a certificate, which is a given. 9 times out of 10, they'll say community. They want to be with like-minded people. But I think for the potential students who are listening into this video, you'll get a real sense of who Vivienne is, because she's prepared to be vulnerable and courageous enough to put herself in the hot seat and be coached and
Yeah,
find
absolutely.
yourself in tears. So I think that says a lot about you as well, Vivienne.
Well, I've got a saying, fortune favors the brave. Like, it's a brave thing. I know when people start coaching, they're terrified. Honestly, I was as well. Like that bravery of really disclosing. I know the first time in any session where I was really honest with what I was thinking and feeling, it was about the session as well. It really opened up something in me of, wow, I didn't realize how masked or guarded I've become over my years, because we do, all of us do, women especially. We've been very good at masking how we really feel and, pleasing people around us. I think most women, I'd say it's a very high percentage. And I didn't realize how much of that I was still even doing like 10 years ago when I first started doing this. And that set me free. I was like, oh, okay, I can actually talk about how I feel and let the respondent respond. It's up to them what they think, say, and feel. I'm not responsible for that. Like getting out of that drama triangle, which is part of my course, and understanding that that's all a fear-based response, when actually we're okay. It's very Buddha, isn't it? We're actually okay exactly as we are in this moment. It's only us that
Yes.
create a different thought process around who we should be, who we have been, who we want to be, who we can't be. That is all kind of a circling kind of set of beliefs which aren't true. Which aren't true at all. So yeah, very vulnerable. They cry a lot they have a lot of fun. In fact, I just sent to my VA team a picture of us in one of the sessions where we're all got our head back laughing, where we've laughed at something so hysterically, because some of our beliefs are so ridiculous, aren't they? Let's be honest. Some of mine from my childhood definitely are. That we're all laughing hysterically together, as one of the clients was like, oh God, that's not true. I can't believe I've believed that for all my life. So yeah, it's not all doom and gloom and crying and ripping the of your life. It's a really powerful journey, and every testimonial I have from not just my clients but my coach trainees are like, it's life changing. Like I just thought I'd learn to be a coach. I never understood it would completely transform my life. One of my clients has lost 9 stone in weight because she's decided who she wants to be. She's completely created a new business. She's out there. I mean, it's just phenomenal to watch people transforming their life.
Watch people rocking it. Gosh.
Beautiful. Like transformation, as you know. All sorts of transformation into. It's my thing. It's my new addiction.
Well, it's one of the reasons why I always challenge people when they say I'm fine, because what is really going on? That it's usually to do with a mask, isn't it? And people just think, oh, well, nobody really wants to know, or they haven't got the time. But if you ask somebody, which is why I tend to say, how are you today? Because we don't need the whole potted history, but and really ask with a genuine open heart and curiosity, then perhaps some of the masks will drop. But we also have to be our own best clients, don't we, as coaches?
Absolutely. I read a post earlier that said, I don't trust a coach that hasn't got a coach. And I thought that's absolutely true. We think we're we don't need it. And I think some of the people that come, I think they should have all their stuff sorted. And I don't believe that ever exists, because it's the gift that keeps on giving, isn't it? Life and the past and our own belief system and our own unconscious decisions and biases. So yeah, I think it's an eternal journey, hence why we're always looking for the new thing of, oh, that's exciting. So yeah,
Exactly. I guess that's why therapists have always got to be in therapy.
yeah, absolutely.
We don't make it mandatory in our industry. I mean, as you say, the industry is not regulated yet, but I'm sure at some point it will come. And it's not mandatory to have a supervisor. And at some point, I think if we don't manage it ourselves and have a coach, a mentor, and or a supervisor, it will be enforced on us. And those people calling themselves coaches, and particularly since COVID, it seems like everybody and their dog can call themselves a coach. And my hairdresser said, "Oh, I'm really good at listening. I could do what you do." Like, really? Yeah, I'm great at giving advice. Oh, okay. No idea. A lot of coaches are going to be left behind because you don't know you need accreditation in the same way you don't know you need insurance until you need it. So why not be proactive? You've been proactive with everything else. You've spent thousands probably on your coach training. Probably spent thousands on a website that you may or may not need, because are websites really essential? Do they bring in a lot of clients, or is it connections that bring in clients? For me, that's debatable. But at some point, you've got to think about, what are the priorities? You need to be accredited. You need to be properly trained. You need to be insured if your country offers insurance. And I think you need to write a book. You need to have something that says you're an expert in your field. Not because a book makes money, but it shines a light on who you are, what you do and how you do it differently. So that's my take on it.
Oh, it's great positioning. I agree. I think you're right in a lot of what you said, and I think people think that it's just as easy as setting up a website or creating a landing page and
And you
it
get
really,
really busy doing that because
and
it
a lot of
stops you
money.
being busy being a coach.
I have lots of coaches come to me and say, "Oh, I've created this and I've created that, and I've spent £5 grand on this," and I'm like, "Oh, okay. What happens now then? What happens now? Where are the people that are interested in working with you? How have you put yourself in front of these people? How have they learned who you are and how you work and what you do differently?" And they're like, "Oh, I haven't done any of that really, and I'm too scared to go and do videos. I'm too scared to write posts, and I'm too scared. I don't know how to do it." So yeah, it's I think a lot of people don't realize that actually as big a decision as it is to become a coach, unless you're going to be an in-house coach, you have to then decide to be a business owner, and they're very, very different skills. They're different mindsets. They're different sides of the brain. They are different in every possible way. I remember somebody saying to me, "Oh, I didn't realize I'd signed up to do sales, marketing, accounting, problem solving, systems." Yes, you absolutely have when you start your business, unless you can pay someone else to do it. And even if you do that, you need to still tell them what you want. So you still need to know. So yeah, learning that is probably one of the biggest challenges. Learning to be a coach, probably the easiest part. Building the coaching business is the trickiest part.
Yeah, I think it's the same as writing a book. I have a book writing course, and because I'm passionate about everybody having something that will help set them apart. 90 pages in 90 days, very, very simple. But if you write it and do nothing with it, nobody's going to shine a light on it. Nobody's going to buy it. It's just going to collect dust. So one of our masterclass speakers, I think, that quoted 13 different roles you have to do while you're waiting actively as a new practitioner, because clients are not going to beat down your door just because you've got a certificate and you're insured. You actually have to get out there and do a lot of legwork. So it takes 2 to 3 years. Again, there's, as you said, 3 years. There's no, what do they call it? A silver bullet. You've got to put in the work.
Fast track, because the fastest track is to learn it from someone who's done it. I do a lot of mentoring in my programs, but it most definitely is not an overnight job. And anyone that says, "Oh, build it and they'll come," that's not true. That's not true either. You have to help them to understand what they need and what they want. And most people don't even know what coaching is. This is the challenge. They think it's advice, as you quite rightly said. It's like, "Oh no, I don't need advice." Good, excellent. You need coaching. You don't need advice. No, you've got advice coming from every angle. What you haven't got is any information from inside of you as what's going on. So yeah, coaching. I think when people really realize the power of real coaching, real proper pure coaching, they never go back. So my clients stay with me. Yeah.
So we've touched on the coaching, we've touched on the book, and I know accreditation was a no-brainer for you. Perhaps you just share why you think accreditation status matters to you and your clients, please, Vivienne.
Yeah, well, it's a standard, isn't it? So at the end of my coach program, and you didn't make sure I had to have this, but I needed it, they have to submit 10 recorded coaching sessions, and there's an exam. And it's not a multiple choice exam, it's an exam to make sure I know that they get the concept of what they're talking about. That's important for them because it builds confidence. And when we've got clear confidence, we're not worrying about, "Oh, can I be a coach?" We're then worrying, "Right, go and find my client." Whereas a lot of people are worrying about, "Oh, am I any good at coaching because I haven't really done much practice and I've got this certificate." So it's not just the certification, it's the practice and the confidence. That certification, confidence, clarity and courage, they are all really needed. But also they're carrying my certification, well, that's come via you guys, and it's my reputation. That's my reputation. It's my processes that they're learning from me. And already I've got people that I used to coach that are going to my coaches because they know they've been trained by me. And that's a really lovely thing because they know there's a standard. And so when there's a certification, there's a standard. And the reason I wanted accreditation with you guys is because it wasn't just me saying it was good and okay and it was going to be fit for purpose and it was going to help them. Somebody else with quite eagle eyes has looked at that and said, "Yes, we agree." Somebody who's seen many courses. So for me, that was why it was really, really important. I could have just done it as a here's a certificate of attendance, which a lot of people do, and I don't think people understand the difference either. And also then accreditation they can come for afterwards. That means they've got that ongoing support from you as the organisation as well. So yes, for me it was a no-brainer. And yeah, there'll be others, I'm sure.
Well, thank you for choosing us, because what we're also seeing increasingly, Vivienne, is people self-certifying, which
Oh,
is madness. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's like when you go to the airport and you see all the #1 bestseller books, they can't all be the #1 bestseller. Where's the independence,
yeah.
for that quality stamp? So we really appreciate your feedback and you doing your due diligence and working out, are we the best fit for you? We're aligned with your values, philosophy, etc. And I'm conscious of the fact that we've run out of time. So, and I always just love having a nice, good natter with you. But let's just wrap it up for the prospective students.
Yeah.
You're obviously going to put your profile on the new directory if you haven't done already, so people will be able to find you at the IAPC&M personally and as a training provider. Where else can they find you, and what else would you like them to know, Vivienne, please?
So my website, vivienjoy.com. So that's where they can find me. As you can see on here, that's how you spell me, the French way, ironically, vivienjoy.com. And on there, they can also book a call with me. So if they're not sure, like, I don't want people just signing up for things. I'm not that girl. I want them to be 100% yes, and this is for me, and I'm sure. So it's a 15-minute call where I'll coach them actually to make sure it's right for them, and to make sure I believe it's right for them and they believe it as well. So after that call, there's certainty one way or another. It's not a sales call. It is basically for them to understand the difference between what I do, and if it's a case they need something different, I can possibly give them some steer or steer them back to you. So that's probably the first space as well. But if they're listening to me and they absolutely know and they're like 100% sure, then they can literally sign up and get started immediately, which is another thing as to why I've changed the structure of it, because I used to run it in live cohorts, and basically I had to wait 6 months, and some people don't want to wait when they're keen, do they?
Exactly.
Me, I'm one of those. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's the next space. You can also find me on every social media platform. I talk a lot about my own journey and dieting, and all the stuff that happens in my life as well. So Facebook, I've been on since
You definitely
2008.
keep it real.
I keep it real. I do a lot of, I do keep it real. Sometimes I'm in my hot tub with some dodgy hair, which is a little bit dodgy today. Yeah, just keeping it real so people can get an idea of how to do it actually as well. So yeah, they can follow me on social media and reach out to me. I love to hear from people. I get lots of DMs each day, and I'll answer them as honestly as I can. So that's the first step, really.
Good. So, final question. What's your trashy secret delight at the moment? What's your secret pleasure?
Oh, definitely the traitors, without a shadow of a doubt. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, that's a weird thing, isn't it? So, some of it I just watch and it's like, I'll watch it on replay, whereas I'm literally up to date with this one. It's like, ooh, what's happening? And I'll stop myself from watching social media in case it's any spoilers. And then just to add into that, I can't wait for the Wicked second film to come out, because I love all of that as well. I love all the hidden messaging of empowerment that come into some of these films and new things. So yeah, that comes out next month, so I'm very excited about that.
That's the Disney movie, I take it, is it?
Wicked. No, have you not
No,
seen Wicked?
no.
Go find Wicked, go and see Wicked.
Oh,
It'll be on Netflix now, I feel quite sure of that. But yeah, the second one's coming out. It's a big deal.
okay.
Yeah,
I'll put it
it's
on my to-do list.
the witch's story from the Wizard of Oz, just to give you a clue if you've
Okay.
seen it.
All right.
It's friendship and relationship and the dynamics of it all, which is quite fascinating. So can't wait.
I always come away from conversations with you with a longer book list or recommended watching. So thank you for that, Vivienne. Well, it's been an absolute joy to spend more time with you. Thank you very much. And for the students watching, you're in for a lot of tears of happiness and transformation when you go on Vivienne's course. So do pick up the phone and have that conversation with her. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Vivienne.